How's it going? I'll just start with, look, the fans again yesterday. I can't stress enough how awesome that was, and really happy for everybody here. I know that's been a long time coming, and man, it felt good to deliver that. But we're not done. That's the beginning. So we got one. We got another one coming up. Got work to do. We'll find out tonight who that is. As far as the game yesterday, it's what we talked about last night, man. Red zone offense, red zone defense. We complemented each other really well. Offense came out striking, and then defensively we were able to keep them out, hold them to 3 instead of them getting 7. And between Badgley's field goal, which was huge, and then Fox flipping the field for us, it was just took all 3 phases, and everybody had a part in that. Coordinators did a heck of a job just making adjustments, and we found a way to win that game. That's what it's about. So, obviously Goff and Reynolds, were really our game ball winners on offense. St. Brown had a monster game again. Laporta, it was good to see him. What a tough kid, to be a rookie and to do what he was able to do. Was confident enough to get out there and help us. Hutch on defense really showed up. His last 2 rushes, man. The one where he drew the penalty, that was huge. Thought German and Kirby really showed up, and then we talked about on special teams, Fox and Badge and Dorse. Man, was smoking as a gunner on punt. That helped those. You get them pinned in the 10 twice and the 8 once. And McQuaid just been steady all year for us since we've gotten him on the snap. So, but certainly a lot of guys did a really good job for us, and it was a heck of a win. Questions?
How unique of a process is this now today? Just not knowing, I guess, what do you guys do tonight? Do you sit around and watch it? Do you start preparing for both, or how does?
Yeah, I think, for us, we're on the Philly a little bit, only because we have, we played Tampa, so we have an idea. We have things that we know about them, and so just take a peek at Philly, so that at least we somewhat have a head start, but we're not all in, and it's really going to be more on, we got to see what happens tonight.
Is there any benefit to watching that game live and maybe being able to feel out those teams, how they play in real time versus just, kind of cranking out the film?
Yeah, I think you get a benefit from watching it every way you can watch it. The feed that we have, the different cut-up feeds that we have, but also the TV copy. I think you can always find pretty good nuggets.
And Alex really seemed to be fighting through yesterday. I mean, he looked like he got banged up pretty early in the contest, and there's multiple times where he looked like he was pushing through. How did he come out, and I guess how much do you value, when your leaders grit it out like that?
Yeah, I think he'll be all right. It doesn't feel great, but he's going to be. I know he left here after getting some treatment on it better than he walked in, and that's what you're looking for. So, look, Alex is tough. He's been through this, and it does. It means a lot. I mean, that's really what we're built off here, and ultimately it comes down to what the player believes they can do. If they believe they can still produce, not being 100%. Then that's the difference, and we have a ton of guys that are that way.
Red zone defense a little bit yesterday. Aiden was talking about changes that you guys have made, the mentality, I guess, in there over the last few weeks. Can you just speak to that a little bit? What you guys are doing so much better?
Yeah, I really don't want to get into that. I think there's things on tape, but I don't want to get into schematically what we're changing and what we're doing. We're doing a good job, though. It's a good job by AG. So. I don't want to get in all that.
You gave Brad Holmes a game ball, and you used the word lockstep. You've used that word before. When did you know about him and your chemistry? Was it right away? Did it take a bit? And could you have ever imagined the kind of relationship you guys have now, the way you work together?
Well, I knew it felt right. The first phone call we ever had after, he had been hired, and then I got hired, and so. Really, before that, we had a phone call. It was really right before I was that I took the job, and it was just kind of an intro. mean, I could tell, there's, for a first phone call for somebody you don't know yet, we have mutual contacts. We have people that both of us, we have mutual friends that we have a lot of trust in. And it was, I could tell it felt like it was going to be right. And then once I got around him, it was, man, I could feel that early. It's one of those, well, if this is who he is and this doesn't change, we're going to be just fine. And sure enough, he's everything that I thought he was going to be from those first meetings, everything that I'd heard about him. And it's just, we're fortunate, but it's also it's a great job by Sheila, Chris Spillman, Rod, those guys identifying that they felt like we would be compatible and that we saw things very much alike. And we do. We see them. We're very similar in the way that we view players, view a team, how we want to build it. And I have things and I have a certain vision and Brad has helped me, by the type of players we acquire and what we look for. I mean, he's given me that. He's helped me. So, listen, that's it. The GM and head coach have to have a healthy relationship, and it starts with ownership, but then that's the next most important by far. And if you don't have that, you just can't sustain success.
Ask you about your coordinators. We talked last week about it being all about you guys. I know that's the priority, obviously, going into this week, but they do have that window from Wednesday to Sunday to hit out some of these interviews, and they've got a ton. 9. I don't know how many they're going to take total, but how do you manage their time there, and what are the windows that you, I guess, try to get them those opportunities?
Yeah, the best we can do is it'll have to be Friday and a little bit of Saturday. So Friday afternoon after practice is done, they're going to have to crunch them in there. They're already working on scheduling it. And then Saturday, there'll be a small window in there after practice, before night meetings. And that's it. We're in one of those crazy years. Well, first of all, they're both, like I said, those are worthy candidates, and I think both of them should be at the top of everybody's list. But we're in one of these unique years where there's a ton of jobs available, and so that's also one they all want to speak to them, and they should. But that puts a stress on them, on us. But they'll do the best they can with it, make the most of it, which they should, and then but be prepared for us to get ready the next game.
What was the emotional highlight for you after that win last night? Like after we saw you, how'd you sort of spend the night, and have you come down from it yet? How do you get back into like the game planning?
I didn't sleep very much at all. I couldn't sleep, but I think. I don't know the bet. Look, it's like I said last night. Believe me, it feels good to win. It feels good to do that. But I'm so much into right now the next one. The next thing here. It's right in front of us, and it's all about the next one. And how do we stay right where we're at? Make some corrections and get ready for this next one, the next home game. Because I just know the opportunity we've got here, and so I can't quite go there, if that makes sense. Believe me, I'm excited. Don't think for a minute I'm not. But I just know we got an opportunity here, and I'm going to make sure that I'm on it.
If you didn't sleep, did you watch film of these two teams? Did you just
just honestly, I had a fire going, had the TV on. I'm thinking about the game, just going back through the game in my head. I didn't watch the game till this morning, go back through it. I'm just thinking, reliving it a little bit. As much as I can, I try not to watch the game right after because I don't like to grade it emotionally. Try to step back from it for a minute. And that's just it. It's just, you're just thinking about the whole thing. Every situation that comes back up, the players, what you did, what you didn't do, but it's good. Listen, it feels good to win.
guy who's keeping receipts 3 years ago necessarily, but is any part, and again, you said you don't want to really focus on this, but is there any part of you that in the back of your head is sort of, I told you so?
Yeah, I got a whole
satisfaction?
ton of those, but it's not time to pull those out yet. There'll be a time and place for that.
So Dan, now that you've seen it a little bit more, in general, what's been your satisfaction level with the safety rotation, and what is it like to have three distinct safeties like that with that skill set?
It's been good for us, and there again, we feel like those are three quality football players. You know, we know what Ducey's capable of. It's good to get him back, you know, and be a part of us out there. But obviously, you know, Iffy, it's kind of a quiet night for Iffy, but yet, man, he did his job. He was productive, winning grade, and then certainly Kirby really showed up for us. So it's been good for us. You know, we had a couple of packages for Ducey in there on third down, so you know, we're in a good place. We're fortunate to have three of those guys right now.
I asked you,
Justin, Dan, and Larry last week.
I know I asked you last week just about the big play receivers. You had another one kind of go off in this game. Puka. Doesn't matter who you play in the next round, whether A.J. Brown or Mike Evans and Godwin. It's going to continue to be a gauntlet. So when you looked at the film of this one, where's room to grow again?
Yeah, look, I think there's, you know, the first thing is we gave up a couple of explosive touchdowns, you know, and I feel like we can correct those too. It's one thing to give up an explosive, but we can be better there, you know. Now both of those players responded well after the fact, which is great. But I think the other thing is, you know, they caught a couple of looks on us. They're checking into some of these plays to where they create interference, right? Some of these man beaters. And I think we can handle those things better. You know, we know what's coming. If they're going to do that to us, we can find a better way to get through some of those. And look, we made some adjustments second half too that helped us in that area. But you know, I just go back to this. We have to play a certain way, and ultimately, the answer to all this is we have to play as a team. It takes three phases. That's ultimately the answer to all of it. So you ask about defense, it takes three phases. And, you know, the other two got to step up. And just like when the offense, we weren't able to put up the points in the second half, the defense kept them out of the end zone. So we just find ways in all three phases. We got to continue to find an advantage over the opponent and go from there.
Explain what happened. I think there's 4:20 left where they like reset the play clock. They're about to run out.
No, I cannot. I cannot. I mean, they try, you know, they communicated, said, you know, we're just having some trouble getting it set to where it should be. We just want to make sure that it's, and so that was the best I got. I don't know what had happened. I don't know who was, but I'm sitting there waiting for the play clock to be reset like you were, so.
You said last week you knew what it was going to look like in Ford Field because you had seen it. Mm-hmm. What was the reality like?
Listen, it was, yeah, I think it was on par with what I expected, you know. And there again, it was probably the best I've ever been a part of. I mean, that was, and so much of it was the fact that the thing started an hour before the game. I mean, and it was just 4 hours of nonstop barrage of the fans just going off, and you know, the chants for golf, and it was just what a special environment. I mean, for anybody that was there, you'll never forget that. You will never, for the rest of your life, that'll be something you're talking about. That was special. All right.